Wagga. Yes, it's going down. No matter how you hear that sound, it's going down. Like they said it would. Now, Hollywood thought we were going to forget about this. That's Kiana Underwood, who passed away and was hit by a car, and she was living on the streets in New York. And everybody's like, wait a minute. How did this woman end up on the streets from Nickelodeon? How did this happen? That this child star end up becoming an adult on the streets? Makes no sense. See, they wanted to glance all over it and make it look like, oh, Hollywood had nothing to do with it. It's just a tragic incident. How did this woman go to living on the streets? An unidentified female till she was identified. How did she become estranged from her family? How come every black entertainer in this business seemed to go down the rabbit hole? Where there's no return. Why do you think this video is not going to get any liked? It's not going to go anywhere. It's not going to travel. No notifications will fly out for this video. You think that's an accident? Makes no sense why a notification wouldn't fly out for this video, right? But if I say Ray Ray shot Pookie, 100,000 views. Well, let's get to it then. Because we need it. This is what we need. Gotta give them what they want. See, Kiana Underwood was on all that at Nickelodeon. And she was there when it wasn't all that no more. Kenan and Kel, that time was pretty much over. And Kiana was the new voice. See, Bill Cosby found her. She was discovered by Cosby and them people. As her mother was in theater. Her mother was like an agent, talent agent and stuff. So she kept her on the level. Then her mother, you see that? You see how they you see that? You see how they do you? That's Hollywood. The industry is so afraid of what you're gonna say that they do not promote your video. Sometimes if your video gets a lot of views because they want it to go to a certain amount of people, so if they see that video, they want to shut it down immediately. That's what this is all about. Control. They want you under assimilation, under control. Now, Kiana and what she was going through is that as soon as she got there, things was just bad at Nickelodeon. Things was bad with Dan. He was working on other shows. And she thought she was going to get a reoccurring role on the shows. Because that's what she was like, okay, well, I should be promised a role on the show. You know, this should be what it is. No reoccurring role for her. That's not what they pushing. They're not pushing for any reoccurrence in roles and nothing. You know what they're pushing for? All these new shows, when they say, oh, we're going to call you back. They pushed her out and start focusing on new characters, new shows. Like Ariana Grande came along. So that was their interest. And she was there for the season, not knowing that they were going to pull the plug on the entire show. Because the entire cast has gotten too old. And now that they're too old, they pretty much aged out of the job. Yeah, so once you age out of the job, that's it. You're pretty much done at that point to Hollywood. You're no longer what they call economically valuable to them. You're expendable. Now they get to treat you and do whatever they want to do with you. Unfortunately, that's how it's moving. So when you start seeing all of this in one play, you're like, that's incredibly crazy. Why would someone take that approach or angle? Now, as she gotten older, she was trying to read for a movie that they had that was coming out that wasn't going to really help. Because they wanted someone more sophisticated in the roles. Kiana started getting introduced to the hardships of life. And what I mean by the hardships of life, I mean relationships, all of it, across the board. It was just becoming more and more of a problem for her. And the reason it was becoming a problem, other people, their perceptions, their ideals, their push. There was so much nonsense that was divulged in a lot of people's perceptions of what is reality and what isn't reality. Kiana was hanging around bad people who started introducing her to drugs and drinking and partying, and girl, we could do this at the rap party. So at 15 and 16, she's smoking weed and she's drinking. So by the time the series and all of these things was over, she's doing voice work. She made a character job. She's really smart. But then she's infighting with her own parents and her own family about her money. Her money was coming up missing because her family was pretty much pouring her out, and nobody in the industry really wanted to work with her because she was incoherent and just mentally out of it. Like she just had a mental breakdown one day and people didn't understand why. And they said this was reactions to her going out, partying, drinking, and taking pills. She had a pill problem for a while, then it turned into other drugs. And something in Hollywood happened, and no one would tell, no one would talk. But a lot of these entertainers go down the same road because these assistants that they have working on the set are very vile, disgusting human beings. Most of them introduced them to nudie mags and a whole lot of other stuff. Yeah, they got the nudie mag. They got the. Are you kidding me? What's up, bro? No. Outside of the nudie magazines, you had other toys and stuff like that, and other assistants that really got caught later in life for what they were doing. Normally, they were attacking the men on these shows. People like Timberlake. And whenever he tells his truth, you know, about him and Lance Bass, a lot of people thought they were a couple. But once Justin tells what happened to him when he was on the Disney network, then maybe that'll come out later on to why he turns to the bottle to try to escape those memories. It's a lot of darkness going on these sets. Hollywood just thought we wouldn't pay attention. They thought everybody would sleep at the wheel. They're secretly getting life insurance policies on these actors and those who live dangerous lives. Now, Suge Knight supposedly had a life insurance policy on Tupac for $1 million. That wasn't Suge Knight. Suge Knight had nothing to do with that. He just used to another Suge lie. But the record label actually did, because he was signed to Interscope. So Jimmy Iovine had a life insurance policy put out on it. But here's the thing. Tupac never signed that insurance policy because he has switched managements over to Suge, and he never signed that policy. Thank you. Appreciate it. Oh, no. They kept promising Kiana that they were going to call her. She was going insane, waiting on them to call her back. Nickelodeon didn't call her back. They did. 10 years later, they did a reunion for all that. When they brought everybody back, she was not there. She was already too far gone at that point into drugs and everything else. So no, Nickelodeon did not call her back. And she was just living on the streets. She ran away from home a few times. She needed to be taken care of. And her parents was custodian of her money. And they had conservatorship over her. Somebody gonna say, well, that's the parents' fault. That's not Hollywood's fault. When you get them ready for this business, no. Come on. When Bieber tells what happened to him and who's the guy that took advantage of him, that wasn't Diddy, because Diddy didn't take an advantage of Justin Bieber. But when they get to that element of it, then we'll see. What did I think about it? Well, I thought, you know how they say things take care of themselves? I was one that always believed things would take care of themselves. Like when the time is right for them to tell their story, they'll tell it. When they feel comfortable enough and they feel like they're in a safe space, they'll talk. Other than that, they're not going to say too much. And the reason they're not going to say too much is because it's embarrassing. One, you know, as a man, for something, even if it's not their fault, they just feel it's an embarrassing situation. They wouldn't even want to discuss it. So to have somebody still walking around who you want to probably, you know, do something to, like harm, it's a difficult situation. They'll never speak on it again. It'll be in their mind, but if they can't live with it, they'll be a victim of it forever. Yeah, Ariana Grande. Mostly because kid actors are sleep deprived. They're supposed to say, oh, well, there's a limit to work with kids. To a degree. They always find workarounds and they overwork these kids. Because, you know, a kid got all this energy. That's why they like young kids. Kids just want to keep going and going and going. So they're like, good, we're going to work you. And Ariana Grande loved work. Her mom loved the fame. So it was like, oh, my daughter star, like one of those dance moms. They're insane. They're living their life through their child. Ariana Grande's doing all this edgy stuff on the Nickelodeon Kids show. It's like, I don't know about that. But they got her doing all these acts and placating over to children. Then it goes from that to another level. It says, okay, we did that level. Now we got to move to another one. It's like, okay, well, what's the next thing that we need to do? They said, oh, well, we need to do this now. Now we're going to turn her into music. She's going to be our Hannah Montana. Another one. Miley Cyrus. Ariana Grande. All turned in by these people that they got hanging around them as kids. They overworking them. Billy Ray, her daddy, was around all the time. Then the mom was in charge and she wasn't well. And Miley was going through things at the time. She started hanging out with this Latino woman that was turning her out and had a lot of influence on Miley Cyrus. And I've known Miley's secret for years, that she was a stark lesbian. She was a complete lesbian. And the guy she was supposedly with and married, Liam or whatever, Hemsworth, everybody knows that dude is gay. And Hollywood just covers it up, try to put him in starring roles because of Chris Hemsworth, his brother. It's like his family knows. Like it's like it was like 3, 4 brothers. They know Liam's gay. She was his beard and he was her beard. They were each other's beards. I have been told you guys this years ago. It's an unspoken secret in Hollywood. They just don't care. Now, they kept Ariana Grande on tours, making albums, going out singing, using her voice, and going to turn her into a multi-star acting and doing films. Right? And doing shows, have a concert. They had it all laid out. Then you want to know what happened? I'm going to tell you like I tell everybody else. It always gets to a point you don't want it to get to. And it was very unfair for them to arrive at a point that didn't sit well with everyone. Like everyone wasn't in agreement with the said position of the point. Miley Cyrus was influenced by this girl she called and taught her Chololo style. Okay, whatever that is. That's my Chololo style. Like, she started trying to act more and more like a Hispanic Latina chick than the country singing girl that they fell in love with, pop star. And that Latino lesbian assistant was the influence. It was all over her. And children started to notice that as Miley grew up, she became less and less kid friendly, that she couldn't do Hannah Montana no more. It's like she has to be Miley Cyrus now. Yeah, this stuff they don't talk about. So her and Liam Hemsworth did a movie together, one of her first films, and that's when they found out they both were gay. And once they found that secret out, he was nervous that she was gonna tell, and she said, well, I'm gay too. And then they was like, all right, we should be a couple, we can book this thing up, let's make this a really big thing. That didn't work so well. That didn't work out so well. Well, when there's several different positions taken against you, then there's a lot of positions being taken against you. It was several different positions, man. It was raining the money. Money was raining in. So Ariana Grande, same thing. They're working her. Then what happens? Here comes a guy saying, hey, take this pill. It'll keep you going. It's called Adderall. So Ariana Grande's popping 1 pill, 2 pill, 3 pill, 4 pill. Now she's on Adderall like crazy. She's working like crazy. She can work. She doesn't even feel tired. And now she's not even getting sleep. She's getting 2.5 hours sleep, or maybe a 30, 45-minute nap. She's burning herself at both ends of the candle. She's barely eating anything. No, people think it's a game. A lot of people think this Hollywood thing is a game, man. No, I didn't watch Kill. Kill's got an interview on Underground Lounge. Well, I'll have to check it out. Yeah, I think I can stay awake. It's 8 p.m. If I'm passing out at 8:35 from leaving the house, I need to turn around and go back. Yes, Ariana Grande was hooked on Adderall while she was working. So while she's doing all these things, she's hooked on Adderall. Everybody's sitting there ignoring it because it's not a problem, because a lot of these child actors are on these pills. And when they're on vacation, they were taking melatonin to sleep because they can't sleep. They don't know how. And how do they get these drugs? They're these hanger-ons, these friends that they have that hang around the set. And their job is, most of them were paid by the studio just to entertain the stars. Get them what they need, do this, do that. And they're unsavory people. Some people are sick and predators. And they took advantage of a lot of those people. Yeah, Hollywood is dirty. I don't know why people keep sending their children to it almost. It's like, man, you gotta really be guarded. Even with all this stuff that's going on now, you still got all the sickos there because the same people are in charge. When people don't see the same as you, they don't have the same, like, wavelength. They don't see you like everyone else sees you. Yes, Lance Bass just came out and told the world because he was tired of lying and he couldn't keep lying to the people. Timberlake said he was a star singer. Ain't no need for him to do it. But all of them were exposed to it. Backstreet Boys, all of them. Man, they used to call them the backdoor boys. No, only the lead singer. No, they normally start off with the kids. They don't normally deal with the dudes. No, they normally don't deal with the dudes like that. Oh, they all do. John Cena had to do that just to get a little bit of attention. You saw what he had to do for his humiliation ritual? He had to run across the Oscar stage completely naked. That was his initiation. He had filmed a couple of movies, then he took basically the year off. So people want to remake John Cena. So he had his last year professionally wrestling. Got paid about $15 million plus just to do what he just did. So of course they go, fine. You want to do that? No problem. They had no one that they could rely on. When you have people you can't rely on, that's a whole different experience. The Rock started building himself up so that he could play these roles that they needed him to play. Now he's trying to slim back down because he came in, he tried to play the action role, he tried to play the the comedy, the drama. He was Walking Tall. He was in The Rundown. A lot of these people don't see the correlation between doing something right and doing something because you're obligated. Oh, these studios, they have all kind of like accidental death policies where the family get a little bit of money and the studio get a little bit of money, or they get a lot of the money. Michael Jackson kids are all cut off. They cut off and sold their portions of the Michael Jackson, estate. The family pretty much sold Michael Jackson's estate. It's all over. They had generational wealth, and they couldn't let a black man have generational wealth. They just couldn't. They couldn't allow it. Now, the devils run it, and they got it, and they got the Beatles catalog. They got it all. They got the Sony ATV. They got everything. So now it's like, all right, everything is cool. And Michael is great. We're making this movie about Michael Jackson. Why would you make a movie about a guy you thought was a predator? When you spent millions of dollars in advertisement falsely accusing this man of being a predator. Well, when you go and do things, man, you gotta have the right temperament. Like, you gotta have the right settings. You gotta have the right calibrations in place. There's so many things that's wrong nowadays. It's just foul. It's foul ways nowadays. I never understood why the majority of the people that's there are doing the things that they do, man. It's crazy. It's like, these demons are in Hollywood. Why in the world are we championing this? Like, clean those dudes out. Get them out of there. You don't need them in Hollywood. They're destroying your talent. Why would you have them around? It's crazy to me. But what do I know, right? So anyway, I'm gonna get out of here for my battery down on my phone. It's good talk. We'll chat later. One.